Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to the Legend of Kelamentura recap series. And yet again, I am habitually late at uploading this recording and then uploading this goddamn thing because currently it's 3 days before the next session. What do you guys expect from me at this point? Hey, at least 3 days before the session, and like at least the weekend before the session to scale somewhat of a schedule. I know I need to get better at this. Shut up. This is my full-time job. Anywho, so also, and this is not my full-time job. Last time I said I was recapping 3 sessions. Turns out I was only recapping 2 sessions because the session I'm recapping today is session 68. I recapped 66 and 67 last time, not those 3. So apologies for anyone who was confused. Oh, I certainly was. It wasn't until after I recorded it and then looked up and went, hang on a second, look at my notes. What's the next one? Beans. So yeah. This is 68, not 69, which is the next one. Alright, so what in the clusterfuck happened this time? It was a bit of a clusterfuck session, good lord. Right, so the party had got settled into Tartarus's Tobacconist and Tap Room, which sticks. Seriously, why did you give me a name with 3 T's and like 12 syllables? Seriously, my guy, what's going on there? Anyway, they're in the basement of Tartarus's. Well, some of the party is, and Duchess and Bart joined us again for the session. So their players were left the docks, and well, they left the docks having been met by Styx, who wasn't with us this session. Styx went off and did some business elsewhere within the city. So Duchess and Bart have been given directions from the docks to the tap room, and Bart, using those directions, rolled a survival check and rolled like a 21, 22, something really damn high anyway. So we've established that cities are Bart's favorite terrain, and that he is an expert in zoning laws because he knows exactly where everything in the city is. Like, I know where to go. This is fine. Vacations are my favorite terrain. Hashtag Tarry and Darrington. So yeah, so those two deedled on out from the markets, venturing into the city with Bart with the intention of getting some new holiday threads because, of course, new city, new threads. So off they effect through the markets, going off to the clothes shop, Velvet Crush, I think I called it, whereby Duchess didn't get anything, but Bart did in fact get a whole new wardrobe. And because I have the pictures, you're going to see it also. Oh yes, that's right. We have sketches. One of our players, Koku. We love you, by the way. Koku is an animator and got bit with the doodle bug in the middle of the session. So yeah, did this lovely image of Bart for us. So yeah, you guys can see it as well. And this is also a reminder to editor David, put the damn photos in. Anyway, so Bart got some new threads. For those of the audio listeners, of which there's probably none of you, but anyway, I'm going to be considerate of you. The audio listeners or the visually impaired. Bart decided to go for. Thank you, Buzz, for that lovely snore in the background. I don't know if it picked up, but I heard it. Bart decided to go for a pair of like a cropped T-shirt that says "I got smashed in Tequila Bay," with a K instead of a QU. Well, K instead of a Q. Over which he wears his robe of the Archmagi and a pair of, I don't want to say booty shorts, but they're definitely not, they're shorts. You'll see in the photo what they look like. They're just like these turned up jean shorts and flip-flops or sandals. Which, I don't know how flip-flops work or sandals work with hooves. Yes, Bart does have hooves. He's a sailor. He's not a full, like, humanoid feet. So, but yeah, that's what Bart did with his time. And then the pair of them decided that they were going to leave the Velvet Crush and go to a jeweler's, where Duchess said she wanted to go off and buy some new holiday bling. Meanwhile, back in the tavern, Bjorn had got up, took himself out of the dormitory and upstairs, where he wanted to go off and have a bit of a chat with Raz, the fire genasi proprietor, kind of the one who's in charge of the tobacconist side of Tartarus's. That's where he went after. Also, apologies for eating noises. I wanted a crisp. So off he goes upstairs, has a chat with Raz, buys a bunch of, ends up having a conversation with him, buys a bunch of different types of tobacco, and also was talking with him about constructing a sort of a pipe of some sort. There's a pipe of smoke monsters, which is a pretty damn cool thing. It's a homebrew item he's talking about me with. He's talked about with me. Good God, David, English. Wow, sorry, my brain completely went off the rails there. Um, so yeah, so he's now discussing how to go about making this pipe with Raz. Raz himself admits that he sells them more than he makes them. He does dabble with a bit of like decorative filigree on pipes now and again. But if you want to do something that's actually magical, your best bet is to head on over to Arcana Manifest, where you will find Throom, the Loxodon merchant, and Professor Theseus. And if you're looking for anything magical or runic or arcane, they're your people. So that discussion, Bart then sat and ordered himself a bunch of drinks and just kind of decided to sit and enjoy himself. Meanwhile, and also in the tavern, Koku decided they wanted to break out their poisoner's kit and sat down and did some poisoning work, or the manufacture of certain poisons and or other toxic materials for use in combat and stabbies. Which they rolled a natural 20 for. So basically look at whatever the feat was for poisoner. They got that, and then they got the extra dice damage and a higher DC for a natural 20. So they're very, very pleased with that. And while all that was going on, enter Clarissa. Enter Chaos. Because of course there was fecking chaos in the D&D session with Clarissa. Boy. Right, so our beloved artificer, not content to sit in the dormitories, decided to go off and have a little wander, and said that she wanted to go off and have an explore of Tartarus and see what things she could find. So, of course, the first step in doing that was, well, how do you wish to proceed in this matter? Do you wish to do you want to go about it stealthily and quietly, or do you wish to just kind of take a stroll about and see what it is? So, deciding to go around stealthily, Clarissa then rolled a natural fucking 20. Yes, she fucking did. Natural 20 on stealth, like 28 total, which is insane. And she should really be proud of that. So, with that, and using whoa, God, my brain cannot work today. With utilization of her slippers of spider climbing, Clarissa slunk along the ceiling of the dormitories and up to the tap room proper. Again, with the 20 unnoticed by fucking everyone, because no one of the parties have passed perception that. I think the highest is a 21 with Bart or low. So yeah, 28. No one was going to see that. Given her impunity. At which point she kind of tootled around, was able to crawl along the ceiling a la Spider-Man, and take a good look at a bunch of the patrons who had their wares. Had a look at some of the patrons, see if they had anything worth, lifting or pickpocketing. Didn't find anything. Snack break. Ugh. And then made her way upstairs to the mezzanine. And with the natural 20, was able to kind of climb up over and then made a really good acrobatic trick, did like a full like Catwoman flip over the balcony. Thank you, Buzz. And then found herself on the mezzanine, crawled up onto the ceiling again, looking for interesting things. And the interesting thing, which I came up with at the moment, was the office where oh God, what's the NPC called? Jin? I'm gonna say Jin. I apologize if I got the name wrong. The tiefling part of the, yes, Rasenjin, the lavender tiefling, or the purple lavender tiefling, Jin, coming out of an office. Clarissa got a glimpse at some interesting doodads and doohickeys in the office. So she was able to sneak into the office as the door was closing. At which point I says, "Well, you now went to an office of the door closed behind you. That's the end of your natural 20." I've described this perfect Batman Spider-Man stealth mission. And she is now in the office and is having a good look, having a little mooch around, see if there's anything of interest or anything of merit. And just kind of, trying to figure out what's going on and what the hell, if there's anything of interest. She doesn't, and one thing she doesn't does indeed find towards the rear of the office is this large, like an astrolabe, which I think is the correct term. It's those like Middle Eastern-y things, or like Middle Eastern star globe thingies, astrolabes, I think is what they're called. Which she kind of went over and had quite a good look at. I go, that's a nice shiny, intricate looking thing. Which when she picked it up, had a look at it, and along the bottom saw some initials, which linked to her backstory, and she went, "Oh, goody," and set it back down. I, of course, got roasted in my DMs by the player during this entire thing of going, "Don't you fucking dare." I was like, too late. The backstory trains are coming. Choo choo. So she had the astrolabe, and then kind of which one was like, finally we'll find something else. And then turned, and as she turned, bumped into the damn thing, causing it to wobble, and it begins to fall. And I was like, okay, this thing's beginning to topple. What do you do? And she's, okay, I'm going to fire up my mage hand, try to catch it and keep it up where it is. It's okay, go ahead and give me an Arcana check. You might be wondering how it got here. This is where the natural one occurred. Yes, natural ones. So she did catch the astrolabe and just slammed it into the floor / cupboard upon which it was sat, which, as one would imagine, made somewhat of a din. And in that exact moment, Clarissa's face looked a bit like this. Yes, stood in the office with a smashed astrolabe, hearing commotion downstairs and cursing her luck. Clarissa, again, thank you, Kaku, stood in the office with a, God, really? Face on her. Now, speaking of, oh God, really faces, downstairs at the bar, Bjorn is sat hearing this commotion upstairs, and with Raz and Jin going off to investigate this noise in their office, Bjorn just sat there and reached over, grabbed the ball, put some coin down, and went, "Nah, I ain't dealing." And he just sat there. Oh yes. And now we cut back to Duchess and Bart, who were walking through the back streets towards the jewelers. Now, around this time, as they were walking through the streets, the two of them kind of were talking about, what are you going to get? What are you going to get? What are you going to do? What are you going to get? And then they kind of started to take a look around themselves and what might go with their outfits. At which point, Bart noticed his ring was missing, the advanced ring of the grammarian, which he is somewhat attached to. He was pissed. He was not a happy tiefling. Along with some gold that had been stolen, and Duchess had also lost her wand of detect magic, which she was also not best pleased about. At which point, the party members, those two, decided that, you know what? We've seen this fuckery before, because last session Clarissa was trying to pickpocket people on the tram. Didn't go terribly well. She had a pickpocket in her own party member. Accidentally, but, did manage to steal a dagger and then give it back. Oh yes, so yeah, then at that moment, Duchess was like, okay, well, how do you two react in this moment? And Duchess was like, I send a message. At which point she sends a message to Clarissa going, "Clarissa, give me back my stuff." Smash cut to the tavern. Clarissa is stood and she hears approaching footsteps and goes, "Shit, shit, 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 shit." and with the boots of spider climbing, casts invisibility on herself and flips up into the ceiling to be hidden and not be seen. Again, rolls a stealth check. Not a natural 20, but thankfully with advantage from invisibility. Actually rolled decently well on stealth. Just in time for the door to open and enter in. Raz and Jin entered. At which point, Clarissa gets the message to say, Clarissa, where's my stuff? Which Clarissa cannot reply to because you need to speak out loud for sending to reply to a sending. So couldn't reply, which just enraged Duchess and Bart. The two of them were like, okay, let's go. So those two stormed through the streets. Well, and then while Clarissa is in the office, just kind of in the corner going, fuck, 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 enjoying the, oh god, what do I do? Jin kind of begins to wring their hands and a mild panic ensues because they are freaking out that this astrolabe is broken. Clarissa's insight reveals that Jin isn't overly concerned about the lathe itself and more as to who the lathe belongs to. So Jin's back to loner. Excuse me. At which point Jin decides to scurries out and runs across, begins to run across the city to go find Professor Theseus, where he's the one who's probably able to fix this type of thing. So Bart and Duchess kind of have this moment where they pass Jin on the streets, and they kind of emerge into the tavern. Duchess kind of walks in, takes a look around, sees Bart at the counter, just looking done. And she goes over to join him. And then Bart stands in the middle of the tavern like, Clarissa! Full on Matt Berry moment. Father! At which point Kaku was kind of finished with the poisoner stuff, kind of goes deedle along upstairs and begins to hear raised voices from her party members and is sat at the top of the stairs all, oh no, mum and dad are fighting. Like this. Which is already off screen by this point, but yeah. Our cute little burb not enjoying the inter-party conflict. However, with Bart's proclamation within the middle of the tavern, got Raz's attention. He kind of came out of the office while he was in the middle of a search. Came out of the office and was going, who in the town? Basically, who the feck is hooting and hollering in my goddamn tavern? Sees Bart and looks and he goes, hey, what the hell are you doing screaming in my tavern for? Clarissa uses this distraction to swing out of the kind of climb down of the walls up on the ceiling. We're still invisible. And begins to make her way downstairs again to reunite with her party and escape the chaos. Which she thankfully does to some pretty good stealth rolls. Although not enough to escape the passive perception of Bart, who did hear a noise as Chris kind of crawled into a corner, alighted on the floor, maybe not quite so stealthy as she would have wished, which Bart heard, followed by Clarissa coming out from a door, dropping invisibility, dusting herself off and going, who's calling my name? What's going on? Enter a series of of deception, persuasion rolls, and insight rolls contested within the party to figure out where's all my shit gone. Which, thanks to judicious use of Flash of Genius from Clarissa, she managed to succeed and convinced Bart that, no, I have in fact not taken your stuff. I don't steal from my friends, being her code. With the party convinced, there's still kind of miffed about the loss of things. Clarissa then decided that she's going to kind of separate herself from the tension a little bit and kind of goes off to a little cozy corner. So she's going to go post up next to a bookcase and grab a book, sit up and be all nice and cozy. At which point she tries to sell the nonchalant look and I think rolls a 1. or rolls damn low, at which point she basically puts her feet on the table, which flips the table. She grabs the bookcase to table herself and pulls it down on top of her, and the whole party looks across like, okay, well, we definitely don't think she's a thief now, because what the fuck? Who is that uncoordinated? Thus forever building and cementing the legend of Clarissa Voyant and the Magpie as two very different people. Which is just brilliant. But around this time, Jin returns with Professor Theseus. This tall, this like gangly, thin, weird man who's like limbs are too long for his body, almost kind of like a spider walks across the tavern. Spider walks across upstairs, disappears into the office, and sets to his work about fixing the astrolabe, which he does do actually. Meanwhile, the party is treated to a very, 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 very fine meal of various kind of like meats and vegetables and hummuses and breads. A whole basically, if you kind of like the type of food you'd imagine if you actually went to the likes of, I don't know, Turkey, Syria, Middle Eastern touristy food, but actually Middle Eastern stuff. Oh, the party is delicious. Which the party finds delicious, of course. After the meal, Bart goes over and speaks to Raz. As I apologize for the outburst earlier, I happened to lose some things in the market to pickpockets, and Raz kind of goes, yeah, sadly that's a thing here. And Bart goes, well, that's a thing, but I have a reputation to uphold, so do you know who I could speak to about it? And I don't mean the guards. And Raz is like, I'm insulted that you think I know people, however, I do actually know someone. If you are going to speak to someone, you need to speak to Rush, who the party met. Well, the rest of the party did meet. He's a sort of a local community leader, a bit of a fingers in many pies. Everyone knows, he knows everyone, everyone knows him. Rush would be the person to speak to. I'm not saying he did it, but he might know. At which point Bart goes, kindly, pays him some money, and waits. The party then wait a while, and eventually enters Rash. And the rest of the party kind of sat, just enjoying drink, dinner, whatever else. Rash then comes in, goes for the usual. Bunch of cigars, cigarillos, tobacco, fine stuff, and he then, while he's at the bar, Bart kind of comes over, says hello, goes to make nice, plays friends, and offers to pay for Rash's stuff. Rash is all too keen to accept, of course. With a very good, decent roll from Bart. And the two then head out into the city streets in the dusk and have a bit of a conversation, and kind of a bit of a bonding session over tobacco and conversation. During the conversation, Bart then begins to say that, unfortunately, I believe you're a man who might know how to get things or acquire things, or you might have an idea as to who the fuck stole my things. And Rash kind of, with a decent persuasion, with decent checks, Rash was like, okay, listen, I might be able to find out who got your stuff, and I'm not saying it was on purpose or targeted. It's business. And Bart's like, oh, that's entirely fine. I just want to know who they are, because I am Bartholomew Aloysius de Guzman Ulysses Yarrow, the Baron of Canig. I have a reputation to uphold. Rolling really well for these persuasion and intimidation checks. And Rash kind of goes, okay, you know what? You guys are staying there. You know what? I'll pull some strings, I'll ask some questions, and I'll find out who stole your stuff. At which point Bart declares, capital, great man. Goes shake his hand, and then as he shakes his hand, does some Bart fuckery. I think it was minor. He casts some illusion thing, casts thaumaturgy, and his voice booms across the square like, the pact is sealed. To freak the fuck out of. I rolled a natural 20, I believe, on the intimidation check, or damn near it. To scare the bejesus out of Rash, putting the fear of God into an atheist. That's a real skill. But with that, Bart then goes invisible. At which point Rash is left stood in the city streets, holding his stuff, going, oh God, I just made a deal with the devil. Fuck. At which point he just nope, and just nopes out and leaves. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, well, actually, we didn't end the session right there, but Bart did then return to the tavern, and the rest of the party, rather with a skip in a step, going, "Oh, don't worry, I've already, don't worry." To Duchess, "Oh, don't worry, I'm sure our stuff will be back in the morning. We're fine. I've had a word with our dear friend Rash. All shall be well." At which point, beholding the Bart's new getup, he is proclaimed to be the most insufferable twink of all time. Which I was like, nope, that's it. I can't top it. That was an Ashley Johnson diabetes moment. I went, no, that's it. I'm done. The Dungeon Master was broken. That's the end of the session. And that, ladies and gentlemen, gays, she's, he's, gays, and there's, and everyone in between, that is where we end the recap for session 68 of The Legend of Kelamentura. Oh, God. And next time, we'll see what chaos unfolds in session 69. Nice. But that shall be in a period of time, probably between 2 weeks from now, or whatever I remember to do it. But again, thank you all so much for listening, adventurers. Stay safe, and wish you all the very best. Have a good one, guys.